for hopping on. I was really excited. It was like incredibly good timing. So we came out with our first, really recorded our first podcast episode. I guess it was just last week, and then I see on LinkedIn you posting something about specializing in being podcast
Mhm.
production for financial advisors, and that's exactly our industry. And so it was really cool. And I just was looking at your website, and you guys have awesome resources. So thanks for coming on and talking to me. I'm excited to learn a little bit about you, and hopefully you can kind of help me learn what advisors do to be successful with podcasts
Yeah.
and all sorts of good stuff. So I'm excited to
Yeah.
talk to you. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Excited that you reached out. I mean, your message was just like the perfect outreach. Probably the best pitch I've ever seen as far as like inviting me to be on your show. So good job.
Wow. Well, thank you. All right, we're off to a good start. So we're doing something right.
Correct.
Who's that little guy walking around you in the background?
There's a couple cats in here. We've got Zelda and Link as
Oh,
far
nice.
as so I don't know if you like remember,
Mhm.
video games or anything like that. But yeah, they're constantly in my background. So hopefully they behave and don't do any kind of like crazy jumps or anything.
Yeah, no, Ocarina of Time was one of my favorite games. I haven't done any of the other ones, but definitely
Mhm.
have some love for Zelda and Link, so
There
it's
you
fun.
go.
So this show,
Mhm.
the I have this like really, I think, achievable and defined goal for this particular show. I want to talk to financial advisors, and basically for it to be worth it for me, I need them to comment positively on just teaching seminars in general, because that's what Nexruto does. We teach,
Mhm.
we set up seminar marketing for financial advisors looking to bring on high net worth clients. And
Okay.
so essentially we're clip farming.
Yeah.
That's the whole concept here. And then in exchange, I can kind of tee up the advisors for awesome clips that they can send their prospects. And
Right.
so, like, I can have them talk about how, all right, when you're in a seminar, what do you talk to me about long term care? Talk to me about how would you teach Social Security in a seminar? Or how do you handle interruptions, whatever it might be. And it's
Mhm.
just, things that can help them out because they can have, good content. And then, we both kind of walk away
Mhm.
with clips. Um,
Yeah.
and then the fun part is talking to other industry professionals and kind of learning about what they do, and hopefully being able to learn from them and make my business a lot better. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's kind of our objective.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about Nexturo. I did look at the website and I saw the seminar thing. How long have you been doing that? What area do you concentrate in? Is it all over the country? Just give me some high level details.
Yeah, so it's Nexruto. We
Oh, sorry.
That's fun. We're
Nexruto. Okay.
yeah, we're so yeah, it's seminar marketing. We're all over the US, and I've been teaching seminars since 2016 or so,
Mhm.
so I guess 10 years, maybe
Okay.
17. Um, and we really started expanding Nexruto to the industry really just this year.
Okay.
And we started next year in 2022, and I would just essentially sold to like friends and network people within my network that I knew well.
Mhm.
And then this year we really started expanding, doing like outreach and marketing, and meeting all sorts of new advisors, and it's been an
Mm.
incredible start to the year. We're way ahead of what our what we thought were ambitious goals were. Um, and that's been great. What we do is it's turnkey seminar marketing for financial advisors who are looking to bring on pre-retiree clients who have between $1 and $10 million of investable assets. So
Mhm.
that high net worth space in our industry, and really we're built for, I guess, what the industry calls now flat fee advisors charging 1% AUM, and trying to manage money that way. So
Mhm.
we create the seminar for you, we customize it, we create the ads for you. Our most important job is filling the room with the prospects. That's
Mhm.
bottom line what we are most judged on, and try and work really hard to do a good job there. And then we also provide like handout workbooks and stuff like that to make you look good in the presentation. And
Okay.
cool thing about us is none of it is, we don't do dinner seminars or anything like that, and everything we do is firm branded. So if you're with ABC Financial, we're going to make everything look like it came out of ABC Financial, so that way you can help establish your brand and grow your business. So
Mhm.
I think we're the only player in the industry doing that.
Okay.
Nobody, everybody else is either marketed or branded under the marketing firm's brand, or a lot of times they try to pretend like they're like a nonprofit or something. We
Mm,
don't do anything like that, so it's been great. So and it works really
okay.
well.
Very cool. And then, for you guys, I mean, I'm picturing someone to show up to the seminar with the financial advisor because, like you said, the brochures and stuff like that. So, are you nationwide or only in
Mhm.
certain cities?
Yeah,
How do
nationwide.
you Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Very
We'll
cool.
struggle if you're in like a super rural area and there's
Yeah.
just not enough people because
Right.
it is a numbers game. We do need to promote to a certain number of people to feel confident that
Mhm.
we're going to get a good turnout. Our number's like 10,000. We can go a little bit below that, but
Mhm.
basically we need 10,000 people.
Mhm.
Um so yeah, so other than if you're super rural, we're all over the country. So
Yeah.
that's been good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I mean, I could definitely see how, I can say I'm gonna do a seminar even, or just any advisor could, and, the challenge or fear there would be like, how do I fill the room?
Mhm.
That's like 100%. But then,
Yeah.
like you said, when you said something about clip farming, were you talking about your typical interviews for this show?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, like this right
Um,
here.
I'm curious if you've thought about any recording of those seminars to like hand back, cut clips out of it or whatever to hand back to that advisor for them to use.
Yeah, people keep bringing that up, and we haven't done it, but it sounds like there's this wave of advisors who they record the seminar and then
Mm,
they'll like be like in the audience and like can kind of do like one-on-one questions.
mm,
Um, I'd suppose that's more natural in like a Zoom environment. We do a ton of
mm,
Zoom seminars and in person. We do both. Um,
mhm.
but I've heard of that. I've never attended one and I've never done it, so I'd love to see it. And yeah, I mean, we I don't know why we couldn't work with an advisor on setting it up. I mean,
Yeah.
it would be great. Obviously, you can have more edited and, videos like that.
Mhm,
But someone like that, so she really was just, "Hey, there's this medium out here." She's a super successful advisor,
mhm.
really kind of a career mentor of mine, but she wants to learn about it and is interested in what's out there. Like, what would you say to someone like that? Like, if they're interested in doing a podcast or obviously with you, we would focus on podcasts. Like, what would you say to her about podcasting? What does
Yeah.
she need to think about to decide if it's
Yeah.
right for her?
Um, so most people these days, when they say they wanna do a podcast, what they really are picturing in their mind is that YouTube channel. So, might as well knock out multiple birds with one stone and go ahead and record video. Think of it as it's going on YouTube. And then the way we edit it and the way we produce it, it can also be posted on every audio app available.
Mhm,
Um, from there, it's a really good resource to be able to, repurpose into blogs, clips, newsletters, practice. The podcast itself can feed every other piece of media that you're trying to produce or that you feel like you should produce for your business. There are a few different strategies we can go into. I'm happy to, just dive into those. And then, uh, depending on your goals with it, right? So we can kind of outline once you're ready to record or whatever, we can outline like, okay, this type of goal. You would want to do a solo show. You would want to think about your schedule in this way. I lean a lot toward simplicity and sustainability for the advisor themselves because they're typically quite busy.
mhm.
So we talk about the perks of doing a solo show, and then there's also perks of doing interviews. So depending on what you want to do there. But yeah, we can dive into all of that.
Yeah, so like her so I think the most successful financial advisors I know do
Hmm.
the that's really not true. I was gonna say do the solo show, but now I'm kinda racking my head of people that I know doing the podcasts and videos. Um, and it is actually kind of a true mix
Hmm.
of videos. So
Hmm.
I think like Root Financial, I think they're like killing it with like inbound leads. And think, I don't know this for sure, don't quote me, but I think it's the video YouTube channel that's driving that. And
Mm.
it's like all from video marketing. Like
Mm.
these are, well-made videos that I think the founder does. I could be wrong about this, so don't quote me, but that's my impression of them. Um,
Yeah.
and it's all like inbound leads. So like if you're so like is a great advisor, she has a big book of business. Like what would you say her goal should be? I can kind of think of, two that make sense, but you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So with that knowledge, then of course I'll just go ahead and get into it. Um, okay. So for an advisor, you want to position yourself, of course, as the expert, like as the person who the client is coming to, and who they want to work with. So when you're looking at your goals being, establishing yourself for visibility, your personal brand, and it's really about like getting you into the spotlight, you want to do more solo episodes. You can still do a mix of solo and interview, but you want the ratio to be higher with your solo episodes. You could do like 2 solos to every 1 interview or something like that, come up with a mix that works for you. When you are interested in maybe, creating, like, a community feel or pulling other, like, partners into the mix, that's where, as an advisor, maybe you have a buddy that you always refer to as far as estate planning, for example.
mhm.
You would have them on as an interviewee to show, like, "Hey, look, I'm connected with these people, I trust these people so that when I provide a referral, here's who I would refer you to." And so you're kind of featuring this other person as your go to, as your guest. So for those episodes, you want to recognize that like they are the star of the show for that episode. And that's why if you're positioning yourself as the go to, you want more solo episodes than interviews, and when you do an interview, you want it to be a really strategic guest. Maybe it is someone, who's a client who you can anonymize in some way. And they've successfully gone through retirement and had several years of, the dream life, right? And you could feature their story. And that would be intentional because people who are pre retirees can hear that story and go, oh, okay, like this advisor helped this person. I want to be like that. So it just really depends on your goals with the show. And only the individual advisor can truly map that out. But there are a wide variety of strategies and a mix of types of shows, structure of shows, frequency, all that can be adjusted based on what you're trying to do with the show. And that's where I really lean into the strategy conversation when we're producing a new financial podcast.
So, but basically every advisor in some capacity wants more
Mhm.
clients.
Mhm.
Are we filling pipeline with new leads from show, or are we kind of moving people down the pipeline,
Mhm.
with content from the show, like that we're already in there? Maybe we're just trying to up the close rate. Just like
Mhm.
how did does that? I mean, does it really just change how you make the show? I suppose. Like, are these kind of things you factor into?
Yeah. So most people start the show with the idea that it's going to be this client acquisition machine, right? It works that way in time. So, podcast and video are both very long term trust generating tools.
Mhm.
And so it's not going to be the same as, mailers or seminars or something like that, where you have this like faster turnaround where someone's signing up right away. Um, so what you're doing with, just even a YouTube channel is creating a library of resources where people get educated. And in time, they're like, you know what? I really like everything this person said. I feel like I know them. I feel like I trust them. I'm signing on. So, what we see is that while you may have an intention that it's a client acquisition machine, it works that way eventually. But at first, especially within the first like 12 months or so, it ends up being a great referral tool and a great networking tool. So, the people who are already in your pipeline, people who already know about your business, they already follow you on LinkedIn, all of that, they start to see, like, oh, you're doing this thing. I see you on video all the time now. And that gives them this immediate opportunity to say, oh, hey, Joe, remember I was telling you about this financial advisor? I really like them. They have a show now. Here's their YouTube channel. And it's that easy referral instead of like, "Hey, why don't you call my financial advisor?" And that just
Right.
feels so,
It's hard. Yeah.
tough, right? So it creates this easy referral opportunity, and it's nurturing the people who already follow you but haven't pulled the trigger yet. So we see it work both ways. And within that, when we work with a client for podcast strategy, we create a cycle of 3 different types of episodes. That doesn't mean like, week 1 of the month is episode style 1, episode style 2, week 2. We don't necessarily map it out that way, but when you think about your topics that you wanna speak on and the level of depth that you wanna go in on that topic, we can adjust your call to action for that episode to be based on who is going to take action on that episode. So let's say you do a surface level dive into Roth IRA rollovers. Probably a beginner type might be interested in more information about how to do that or how to um, learn more about that, right? So that would be like a beginner style call to action, really simple, maybe like a freebie that they can download, versus when you've done multiple episodes about that same topic and each one's getting deeper and deeper and deeper, an advanced type user or listener who's ready to actually dive in, become a client, and have you help execute this is going to not want that same freebie. They're going to want a more advanced way to get in touch with you, to start to work with you. So that might be the, free assessment, where you're actually getting on Zoom with them and going over some numbers that they filled out in a form. So we're adjusting your call to action, not anything crazy, but, still keeping it simple, but to match the style of episode you're doing. And then you're rotating through 3 different styles of episodes. So some are acquisition and really surface level for beginners. Some are nurture episodes, and then some are your true like client draw episodes where you're actually pulling someone in.
Yeah. So, yeah. And so what's I'm trying to think.
Mhm.
So, like, so I get that you're just so higher level discussion, more of a
Mhm.
broad topic, like, hey, and diversified portfolios are
Mhm.
this. And then there's like, hey, IRMA charges are going to kick in if you take money out of, we can see your RMDs coming out at, this age, and that's going to trigger IRMA charges, which is going to raise your Medicare expenses. And so you need to, plan for that 5 years before, like, get really in
Mhm.
depth stuff.
Mhm.
Um, well, how do you actually, what is the difference in call to action? So I get there, like, and hey, you end the episode, hey, this is a confusing topic. If you want to learn anything, or if you want to discuss your situation more personally, schedule a meeting with me. Like, that's a direct call to action. And
Mhm.
then, is there just like sign up for my newsletter would be kind of like a real soft call to action for just like, like and subscribe or something if you're just like talking about investing? Is that kind of
Yeah.
what the takeaway is?
You're close, yes. So, there's a brand new episode out on my show, Podcasting for Financial Professionals, that dives into all these call to actions. You only need 3. And again, they probably match those 3 different styles of episodes. But basically, the majority of your listeners or viewers are terrified to book a call. because generally, if I'm booking a call with someone, I have a very high intent to go ahead and sign up with them.
Mhm.
So if I'm not ready to sign up, there's no way I'm booking a call, right? So you want to reserve that consult call, discovery call, a free video assessment, anything where you would actually book a time, or the potential client would book a time with you. You want to reserve those for those deeper episodes where only an high intent person would actually book that. That frees up your calendar too, because you don't want a bunch of looky loos just filling your calendar.
Sure.
So that should be your rarest call to action because not many people are actually going to do that. Your other two calls to action are going to be something uh, super low commitment for the viewer or listener. So the free download, very simple. Might take you 10 minutes. Maybe you use AI to curate it. Maybe you use Canva. You have an admin do it for you. Um, Couple pages, pretty PDF, well branded. Boom. Very
Mhm.
simple. The only commitment required from that viewer or listener is their email address and name. So they are essentially signing up for your newsletter at the same time. They're clicking a box for consent there and they're in, and then they can start getting your newsletter emails. Generally, the call to action to join a newsletter doesn't work because most people don't want more stuff in their
Right.
inbox.
Please don't
So
email me.
yeah, exactly.
Well, you can email me.
So
Don't auto email me.
right. So if you do want them on your newsletter, make sure that your ask there is really compelling. Like, why the heck would I join your newsletter? Tell me about the amazing stuff you're going to teach me and why getting your newsletter is invaluable to me. It doesn't have to be a long sales pitch, but make sure that there's a compelling reason of why I would take action on that. So if you're gonna go that route, make it super compelling. I would say like a because we said the level 1, just like free PDF, super simple, broad, anybody can grab it, low lift, right? The mid-range is still essentially an email sign-up type thing where they're getting a free thing, but I would make it a little more in-depth, a little more intentional. Maybe a free 3-part video series from you where you've recorded it and edited these videos. They get dripped, a series of 3 videos over this week about a particular topic that most of your clients have questions about, right? So you're able to get more quote unquote FaceTime with them because it's a recorded video from you. So they're seeing you, your face, your expressions, the way you move, the way you think. Um, and they're getting nurtured by you, but it's also free.
Mhm.
So PDF, super easy, kind of high level,
Classic lead
maybe some
magnet.
type of
Yep.
short video series, and then, the in-depth, like, book a call with me, only certain people are going to take action on that.
Right. Like you've sat through, 2 hours of a pretty intense conversation. If you
Mhm.
want to talk, now we'll talk.
Right,
Kind of is the idea. And so the
right.
idea is if people are booking calls, your goal is that those are pretty serious prospects.
Yeah, because, in general, we have that reciprocity need,
Mhm.
as humans, right? So if I took up 30 minutes of your time, I kind of feel like I owe you something. And not that we want people to feel that way, but in general, that's how we operate. So
Yeah. Hey,
I'm
I mean they're all
only,
salesmen, so they
yeah,
they know
I'm
at the end
only
of the
going to
day.
book a call if I am pretty much ready to go.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So that in my head sounds like what a really good looking, well run program might be, right?
Hmm.
And obviously there's a ton of details that we still kind of would want to jump into. What does it look like to just get started? And this is before we won't even talk about equipment and all that, which by the way is kind of intimidating to get started with too. But literally just like, okay, assume I have a little setup. What does it look like for just like your first 5 shows? I can't embarrass myself in front of my clients because I do have an established practice, but I'm willing to accept my first 5 are probably not gonna be that great. Um,
Yeah.
how do I what does it look like to get started? What is like early level entry ticket?
Yeah.
I wanna fire off. How do I do it?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this is probably the most intimidating part of your entire podcasting journey. So like just look at that and have that reality check. Like it's okay if it's scary. What I would do is brainstorm the top questions that you get asked almost by everyone. And your
Mhm.
goal with these first few episodes, whether it's your first 3, your first 10, um, the more you can shoot for, the better because it kind of gives you that runway of like, oh, I could talk about this, I could talk about that. And it kind of makes it feel easy because you answer these questions all the time. But your
Yep.
goal with these first few episodes is to stop repeating yourself, essentially. Because now, when someone asks you that question, you could say, oh, I've got the thing for you. Go listen to episode 2. Here's the link. This will answer your question about that.
And it's
And
like your
it's
deep
this,
dive or
yeah,
some
it's this
level of
cool thing.
dive.
Like, oh, yeah, they gave me a podcast episode. That's awesome.
Right.
So map out those like top questions you always get. Those are going to be solo episodes. I'm going to highly recommend that your first few are just you, right? You're just diving into a topic. I want you to practice at first, just like in the bathroom, in the mirror, talk to yourself, look at your facial expressions. We generally feel like we're kind of boring and monotone. So practice when there is something exciting, that voice inflection. You don't have to be an actor or an actress, but you want to vary your tone. You want to make some expressions. If something feels exciting to you, go ahead and get into it. Raise your eyebrow, like do the
Mhm.
thing because they do want to see some personality. Even if you're a boring personality, they want to see that and know that when they walk into your office or meet you on Zoom, they know what to expect. They're seeing the same expressions.
Yeah.
So answer those top 5 questions or, 10 questions, however many you have, solo episodes. Try to be as natural as possible on camera. We don't need to see something that's like fake or acted out. They can sense that right away, and it's a big turnoff. And then the other thing would be to make sure that you have a call to action in each of those episodes. It's fine if it's not the planned out strategic 3 that we talked about earlier, but they need to do something. And the call to action should not be to like and subscribe. That has no ROI for your business. You
Hmm.
need them to be downloading a free thing, um, signing up for your newsletter if you have a really compelling ask there, something like that to where you're capturing whoever you can, because these first few episodes are going to be your most listened to for probably a year because people
Really?
do go back, especially if you are referring people oh, I answered that question in episode 5. They're going to be your top hits for a long time.
Wow. That is
Mhm.
surprising news to me. So that's actually kind of the idea that we would have had that I have with the like clip farming. Um,
Mhm.
I know the questions that advisors are getting asked all the time. It's the same questions. They're all, especially in my
Mhm.
market, the pre-retirees, the high net worth pre-retirees. Um, and you're saying basically carve those out and
Mhm.
make episodes about that. Makes perfect sense. All right, so take another step back. Equipment, how do I set up? So,
Yeah.
what do we buy? How much is it gonna cost me? What should my budget be? And then I wanna talk about, like, backgrounds and stuff like that because I know particularly with backgrounds, I personally am, like, blind to what's aesthetically pleasing. It makes
Yeah.
absolutely no sense to me. Um,
Yeah.
but equipment, what are we looking at here? I know we wanna do better than just, like, your webcam mic.
Right, right. So, for sure, do not start just like speaking out loud to your computer. It's echoey. It comes across like you're in a bathroom or something. It's really bad. So
Mhm.
don't do that. So, like my mic, for example, is a $70 microphone. It is still very professional level. It's called a Samsung Q2U,
Mhm.
very affordable.
Yeah.
Right
I
now,
send it to
I've
all our clients when they do Zoom seminars.
yeah,
I
yeah,
literally just
it's
plug and play. It's so easy.
super easy. It comes with, and that's not the plug that I have now on because I
Mhm.
have a more intense setup, but it comes with a simple plug that is a USB on the other end, plugs straight into your computer. You can use Riverside, which is the platform that we're recording on. Riverside is a few $100 for the year for your
Mhm.
subscription. You do
I'm on
need
Pro. It's like $30 or something a month. It's not bad.
yeah, yeah. You do need some type of headphones or earbuds if you're doing interviews. Now, if you're just doing those solo episodes, you do not need to wear anything because you're not listening to anything. The key here is that there's no sound playing out loud. That's why we wear headphones and earbuds because I would be getting a lot of echo and I would hear Steve's voice in my microphone if I was playing his sound out loud. Totally a mess for editors or like the interview. Um, Headphones can be, $70, $100. I mean, you could get crazy. You can buy a $500 microphone. I don't recommend it. It's unnecessary. And then when you talk about backgrounds and things like that, I do have some folks that use a green screen. That is not necessary unless it has a specific play into your show. Most of the time, what people want to see is your office, believe it or not. Because if I meet you on Zoom or I come into your office and I'm doing business with you, I need that familiarity. Oh, this is the same thing I've seen on YouTube, right? It
Mhm.
like feels good. It feels like a trust factor there. So for me to meet you in your office on YouTube, same thing. Yeah, this is my office. I've got some plants and a decent chair and some books and things that I would normally have. Sometimes there's stuff written on my whiteboard. Sometimes there's not. The natural space, as long as it's clean, well organized, appealing visually, that's great. The other piece that's super important for video is that your lighting is cast on your face, not shining from behind you because it's going to black you out. Any skin tone, it doesn't matter. You will look like a very dark 2020 figure, like we're on TV, getting interviewed as like a masked murderer or something, with the light shining behind you because we can't see your face. So that's the important piece. I actually face my windows in my office, and anytime the light's coming in too intensely, I have some sheer curtains that I pull over. I do also have additional lighting in here so that if it's evening or it's cloudy outside or something like that, we still have a good lighting. So it doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. You can get some decent lighting on Amazon for like $50. So what are we at here? Like maybe 300 for the year for Riverside, $70 for a microphone, less than 100 for headphones, and $50 for lighting. I mean, it does not have to be complicated. Your additional costs there would be your editing team, management team, anything like that. You can go practically DIY, which I don't recommend because you're already busy. Super cheap, like less than 500 a month, or you can have a professionally well managed, well structured, highly branded show for, maybe up to 2,000, up to 5,000 if you want to get crazy with it per month.
So so, all right, before we move on to, because I wanna ask, like, what you guys do, because 'cause you're kinda in
Mhm.
that world
Mhm.
where they're paying you to have a super professional show.
Right.
Um, all right, so let's take a step back. So in your professional opinion, and you do not have to hold back, but how are we doing on this show so far? We are looking to learn, so it is all okay to, beat us up. We can take it. We do not feel like we are professional podcasters here. Um, how are we looking so far? Background lighting, um,
Yeah.
everything. What do you have for us?
Yeah. Well, so you do have your microphone, your headphones, you're using Riverside, so you're all good there. Um, nice office, you've got your books in the background. The only thing I would adjust is look at your lighting. I'm seeing a really well lit side of your face and then like a
Mm.
darker side of your face. So you just want to get one additional light in front of you. Nothing too bright.
Like directly in front?
Off to it's my right, but I don't know if that's your left based on
So it's like
video.
this side.
Yeah, that side. There you go. You just need one little light to just brighten up that other side of your face so you don't look shadowed.
Okay.
But really good otherwise.
Alright, we'll take really good. Yeah, we have this other light here.
Ah,
Um, let's see, we have it a little far.
maybe that's what it is. Bring it closer.
So I had it, like, above, and
See, when you look
this is
that
why you don't
way,
listen to AI, because AI told me to have something above me coming down.
oh, okay. So tip there, if you do have it above you coming down, that'll actually create shadows under your eyes, which none of us want.
Okay.
So you need lighting almost at eye level, and so that it's, you know, not casting any shadows. Like you don't want a shadow from your nose down your lips, right? Or from your eyebrows down, making you look like you have bags under your eyes. Yeah,
I
right?
probably do, but
Yeah.
is this
So
is this
actually,
so are we better or are we worse?
you're better. And now your skin tone even looks warmer, is what I'm seeing.
Okay. Because yeah,
Yeah.
we can make these, like, real
Yeah.
bright
Oh,
and
don't
bring
do
them
that.
down.
Yeah, just kind of like a soft, like low, and yeah, you look a lot warmer now.
Perfect. So,
Mhm.
all right, so we did okay. I thought it was gonna be worse. I don't like the door behind me because I know it screams that I'm working in a home office. We're gonna be moving this office soon, and we're probably gonna build a nicer one.
Mhm.
We just had our second kid, and he's like 5 he's gonna turn 6 months. Oh, wow, in just a couple days.
Mm.
Um, and, yeah, once he goes daycare full time, I can kinda move to a nicer office in the house. Right now, I'm
Yeah.
kinda in a guest room, but,
Yeah.
um
I think
but yeah.
the home office look is fine. I think this day and age, like since COVID, I think it's very acceptable that you are in a home office. I don't think that's like a judgment anymore. I think sure, if you have clients coming in, you're going to meet them at your actual office, but I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, this is where we do our client calls, so I do have, lots and lots of,
Mhm.
calls with,
Mhm.
prospects and clients and all that here. I will say, and you've kinda touched on it, I think a very important part of any sales is, trust, obviously, and I
Yeah.
think what a lot of people it's a part of trust, but one part of trust that I don't think people take seriously enough is you're comfortable with people when you can almost anticipate how they will act in different situations.
Mhm.
And the the best part of podcasting is all the shows that I like. So like I love Acquired, I love Lex Friedman's show, I love Founders with David Senra. I feel like I know those hosts.
Exactly.
And it feels like I'm friends with them. Now, they're
Mhm.
complete strangers to me, I don't know them at all. If they saw me, I have met one of them before, but if they saw me, like, total stranger, but it feels like I know what it would be like to hang out with them, basically, and I think that's extremely important, and now for financial advisors, what I tell them in the seminar space is you need to do that, but they don't necessarily need to know what it's like to hang out with you and watch like a football game or something, but they need to know what it's like to walk into your office and what's it going to be like when I share my statements with you? How is that process going to feel? What are you likely to say? What are you thinking? So I always tell them like when they're telling stories because we always have stories in our seminars,
Mhm.
um, you're not looking for hero stories, and that's what most advisors jump to is like, here's how I saved the day, and
Right.
those are good because you want to demonstrate you're doing a good job. But what you really want to do is tell a story that lets them wrap their head around of what's going through your mind when a new prospect walks in the office. And
Mhm.
I think podcasts are incredible tools for that
Yeah.
because you just spend so much time with people. You really get an idea of what they're like and how they behave and what they think and that I think is the ultimate goal of a podcast is, demonstrate your knowledge and then let them get to know you a little bit. And so, you know,
Yeah.
I would include that in any podcast that you're trying to do.
For sure, for sure.
Because it's just
Well,
such a valuable tool.
and I would encourage you to think about, like, you know, on one hand, you're thinking about the monetary commitment of starting a show and your time commitment of starting a show. But on the flip side, think about what other chance do these people have to spend hours and hours and hours just listening to you or
Yeah,
watching you?
yeah.
Even
I've
in
spent
the you,
hours with those shows that I mentioned. Hours.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
tons.
And that was the beginning of my podcasting journey, was like, I was pretty much obsessed with a few shows, and I would just, every commute, every chance I got, I would turn it on.
What are your
And
shows?
so back then, actually, this is a little bit of my like origin story of how I got into podcasting, but I was in the audit space working, 9 to 5, commuting 40 minutes each way. And I would listen to Stacking Benjamins. That's one of my longtime favorites. And then there were a few others, there's Paula Pant, and there's a few other like OG, like personal finance podcasts that I would listen to. And those shows, there were a few others in there, but those shows helped us get out of debt, start investing, really flipped our personal finance situation. And so just from a and I wasn't even in the podcast space. I did accounting and audit for years, and I knew podcasting had something going because they helped me. They changed our lives. Now my kids have investments. I mean, are you kidding?
Mhm.
Like, we weren't in that position before. So I knew there was something here to this space. But yeah, those are some of my like OG favorites. Shout out to Joe Chelsea. Hi.
So it was always business podcast or personal finance podcast, though.
Yeah.
That's Stacking Benjamins is a personal finance show, I'm guessing?
Yeah, and they have several fun segments. They play, some games. There's like a whole jig. It's like it they really try to make personal finance quite a bit more fun and interesting, and they dive into headlines and things like that too, but it's educational, and they would also make me laugh out loud. So there was a bit of that there.
When you're working with advisors, do you try to get them to have fun shows or because
It depends
it's a
on their
thing.
personality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people come to me thinking, look, like, I know it's important to create content. I don't feel like I have a face for video and I think I'm boring. How do I do this?
Yeah.
And I think I'm boring too. My kids will tell me, Mom, you're boring. But let me tell you, I crack myself up.
Yeah.
So if you can just find it in you to just bring some personality to your show, whatever style personality that is, because there's something for everybody. I still to this day, I had a math teacher in high school, and he was just like the dry eyes guy from those commercials, like way back when, just straight faced, monotone. But our goal as a class, we decided, was to make him laugh. And he is still one of my favorite teachers. I'm just, the dry eyes guy. Like, if you could look up those commercials, and that was my math teacher. And we loved him. And so, your clients are going to love you too, even if you're the dry eyes guy.
Right, right. Finding a way to be yourself and just let your almost audience find you. And then maybe hopefully have a little bit of awareness and start seeing like, okay, what is resonating and, lean
Yeah.
into that a little more.
Yeah, you can adjust
Um,
over time. That's the beauty of it too, is like you can, change your topics, you can change your style, you can adjust your strategy, you can lean into whatever hobby you like to do and start drawing analogies between that and investing. I mean, you could do anything with it.
right. Yeah, because we'd always say like in our old firm when I was a financial advisor that, client advisor A, might have clients that would never work with advisor B. Both great advisors, but it's not happening. Like
Mm.
you're not going to close that client, and advisor B is not going to close advisor A's clients, and both of them, $1 million plus producers. Um, what we're not good at that you would think we could probably have done something with is trying to help identify who would be able to close who and like introduce them. We had zero ability to do that.
Huh.
Um, and that's there's probably a huge opportunity there. I don't have any solutions for it. But but yeah, it's just putting yourself out there and just letting them yeah, let your audience find you, I suppose,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
kind of what you're
Absolutely.
saying. All right,
Absolutely.
so your program though, you guys
Mhm.
charge something like it was 1,900 and change for
Mhm.
one of the programs. You have a couple different options.
Mhm.
Why do people hire you? What do you get when we hire you? I mean, what's
Yeah.
your sales? Give us your sales pitch. What do you got?
Okay, well, first off, I don't consider myself a salesperson, so this is, like, the most uncomfortable part, right?
We're
Um,
all in sales.
yeah, but, when you work with me, the primary thing that you're getting is the experience in the finance podcast space and kn knowing the different strategies and how to execute those strategies. Even if you come to me with the most unique angle possible, we're going to work together to create a unique strategy for you. So, to have that third party strategist, I think, is invaluable. The other thing is that I have team members that have been with me for years, like even pre COVID, who are my editors, my graphics people, my show notes writers, very experienced as far as personal finance content. Um, we tend to be able to recognize and flag if we think like, hey, you mentioned this in your episode. Is that okay compliance wise? So we have
Super
this like
valuable.
very specific lens that you're not going to get with any other editing team. The other thing is that just like what we've done on this show, I will continue to handhold and guide you. Okay, adjust this, move this light over. Okay, it's time to upgrade, from your webcam to this level of camera. I can make recommendations on platforms. And then the other piece is I know what it's like to run a business and produce a show. So I'm looking at everything through this sustainability lens for you. We're talking about scheduling. We're talking about why you do an interview, when you would do a solo, how that's going to work with your schedule. There's so many layers of it that you're gonna get with me as your manager rather than DIYing, feeling lost, feeling like you're not really connecting with the audience that you wanted to. I work with folks all the time on adjusting, tweaking this one thing, adjusting these words, tweaking this language because it's gonna connect with this type of audience more deeply, and even guidance as far as how to get the show up on your website as like a blog post automatically each week and various things like that to just make production feel guided and smooth instead of you just like on a ship in the ocean by yourself.
Yeah. So much more, yeah, much more hand holding and just,
Hmm.
yeah, you wouldn't need the staff and time commitment is just wildly different hiring you guys.
Oh, yeah. Like,
Editing takes forever because I've edited videos myself. It takes, especially when you don't know what you're doing. That first one, I was helping a friend of mine. He's trying to start like an AI consulting business. And basically what I've just been, his my advice to him has just been just start and try to sell something. Like you gotta just put something out there, and
hmm
then it'll kind of shape you, and you'll get better at whatever it is you're looking for.
yeah.
Um, but he was trying to make a video where he was going to do a demo of like the types of apps he can build or whatever, and I kept warning him like that first video is going to take for
So
whatever you
hard.
think it's going to take, just 10x it. It's going to take forever, and you're not going to like what comes out.
Yeah.
So, and my
Yeah.
recommendation is just post it. But,
Yeah. Well,
um,
exactly.
but
And
yeah, but
even
you
in
guys would take a
those,
lot of that pain off, and
for
your
sure.
first
And if
one
I
can be
ever
presentable.
Right. And if I ever got something where I was like, this isn't quite the quality or, this doesn't paint you in that professional light that you're going for, maybe what I see in your first couple of recordings does not match this like brand that I'm seeing on the website. Which that hasn't happened because we've typically done enough coaching before that to where what I get is like we're good. We're
Mhm.
ready to go. But I would bring that up, I've told there was a female bookkeeper actually, because we do business finance podcasts as well. But she was like strapped for time and she recorded one from her hotel on vacation, which I never advise. I'm like, let's do a replay from like a prior episode. I'm not trying to make you record on vacation. But like she didn't have makeup on and stuff like that. And it's like, not that that's bad, but it wasn't the way that we had seen her in any other episode, and it looked drastically different from anything else that we'd produced, and I felt like
Right.
that was a trust breaker. It was like, "Wait,
Right,
who
you're
is
smashing
this?"
that, right, my ability to predict how you're gonna behave, you're kinda smashing
Right.
that a little bit.
Right. So I was like, let's not air this episode. It's a great topic, but save it for when you get back." But yeah, so there's different ways that we work together, whether you want to launch with us, whether you want to just be placed as a guest on other people's shows, or whether you want us to do full production. And full production can be expanded into, I want a weekly show. It's, over 30 minutes long. I want 5 clips, one posted every day. I mean, you could get crazy with it. But hey, I mean, then all of your content's taken care of, and,
Mhm.
I mean, it's fun for us.
What do you think best practices are on, like, show notes and clip farming and promotion, where to post?
Mhm.
So I know, um, like, certain shows I've seen, they have, like, the show on one channel and they have clips on another channel.
Hmm.
Um, and then yeah, so just kind of in general, like, what are best practices with that? I mean, how important are show notes? Like, the first episode I did, I just basically put in the guy's name and his website, and that was about it. It's probably wasn't
Yeah.
I definitely didn't use up all the characters that were available to me there.
Okay. So
But I've
that's
never read show notes.
exactly
I don't even look at
yeah.
them. And I love these shows.
Yeah. So that's, exactly where I was gonna go. You have 4,000 characters that you can use to describe what is in that episode. So when you think about whatever topic you dove into on that episode, you want to think about what are people searching around this topic? Like what question would they type in? You could use Google, you could use AI, I mean, you can find various ways that people phrase their questions. And then what you want to do is pull some of those phrases into your title, maybe like the top one into your title, and then the top 3, 4, 5 into your show notes. And my perspective is that your show notes, even if I could only listen to 5 minutes of your episode, but I could glance down at your show notes, I could skim and get a really good idea of what was in that episode. Maybe even some takeaways that I can just like go implement right now.
Mhm.
So I want those show notes to be useful and actionable as a standalone piece of content. And what that does is it's wonderful for SEO, but it's also easily repurposed into like a social media post or your newsletter blurb or any other piece that you would be reproducing or repurposing from that episode. So we put a lot of effort, obviously, into every client show notes, my show notes. You can look at podcasting for financial professionals and kind of like spy on what I'm doing. And but I want you to use not necessarily 4,000 characters, but as many as reasonable. If you have a 5-minute episode, you're not going to have 4,000 characters. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
But if you have an in-depth interview, I bet you can come up with a pretty lengthy summary and different section. Break it up, right? We don't just want to see a wall of text. We want to see a short paragraph, a bullet point section, another short paragraph, some timestamps, a quick bio on your guest, their links, your bio, I mean, just so there is a show notes template available for free on my website if you want to look at that. Lots of guidance there as far as the power that you have when it comes to describing your show. And the way I like to look at it is like it is available real estate for free that you may or may not be using. So let's use it wisely.
And the idea is SEO, help people find your show with it.
Mhm.
And then, 1A, then 1B would be just they should be able to grab useful either ideas or just, "Okay, I get what this is about."
Mhm.
Let's write these show notes together. So, like, we had Virginia Elders on, we were talking about podcasting for financial professionals, best practices, how
Mhm.
Virginia got started.
Mhm.
Just like these would be the show notes, just kinda going down.
Yeah.
We live fix Steve's lighting. We like, literally, it would just kinda like you
Yeah.
would go down
Yeah.
and break it up, which
Platform
is basically the clips that I'm
recommendations.
kinda grabbing. Basically, I should just describe the clips in the show notes.
Mhm.
All the clips that I have titled,
Yeah.
that would be the show notes.
Yeah, and the
And then
lens I
think
would look
SEO. I guess that doesn't consider SEO.
yeah, I mean, but the lens that I would look through it uh, at would be, which pieces of this can someone run with, right? So they have questions about equipment. They have questions about how to record or where to put it. They have questions about calls to action. They have questions about, just what do people need out of this episode? And those would be my clips and those would be the sections of my show notes. That's a really great way to look at it.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. Um, I'm trying to think. What's your website? Where can people find you?
Yeah. The show is at podcastingforfinancialprofessionals.com. The business website is podcastabundance.com. And I'm on LinkedIn at Virginia Elder.
Well, thanks for coming on. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
All right, we'll talk soon.
Talk soon.